Hello, my name's Mark. Welcome back for another YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to make some bar clamps. These clamps are just made out of everything I bought here, everything I used the clamps, apart from the plywood for these parts, I bought in Screwfix. So it's all readily available. It's simple to get hold of stuff. Just imagine you could buy this, to make these anywhere in the world. What I've actually used for these bars, is metal conduit. But there's a really good reason why I've done that. And the main reasons I went for metal conduit: one, it's cheap, it's less than £10 for a 3 metre length, so it'll get you two sort of 1200 clamps easily. Yeah, it's cheap, readily available. I know it's not super strong, but this is the 25mm one. They do a 25mm one and a 20mm one, but the 20mm one fits perfectly inside, so you can beef it right up if you want to by just sliding that inside. But the best thing about the metal conduit is when you buy it, on both ends you get a thread and one of these couple of things, so it solves that age-old problem. Is when you're trying to clamp something up, it's always like that much, the clamp's sort of that much too short, isn't it? So you can just screw that on there. You've then got, well, as long as you want, well, up to 3 metres, but obviously you couldn't really make a 3 metre clamp, but you can just add a piece on the end to take a piece off, and all that clamping mechanism just slides off. So literally you can have a selection of length of bars and just slide on whatever you want. And for storage it's dead simple, because you can just take everything to bits. And this thread, to lock the end, to stop the ends of the clamp sliding off, they sell these nut things, so you just cut them on there, stops the clamp sliding off. I mean, obviously you could just drill a hole and put a bolt through to stop it sliding off. Obviously if you can't buy this conduit and just want to use a thicker tube, it might even be worth just tapping down the thread on the end, just to allow you to, make them longer and shorter, because it's quite a handy idea, that if you can adjust the length of the clamps without having to have loads of clamps. So each of the clamping sections is made up of 3 pieces of 18mm 3/4 ply. You could use anything, but I just plies, just offcuts the ply. There's loads knocking around and it works. It's really strong. So I just made a template up and just made them all off the template. So I screwed that one to there, trim cut it with a router, and then sandwiched that one in between the other two, so that I got 3 the same. So the one I cut with the template is sandwiched in between the other two. So now use the flush trim on the router just to cut that around, so you got 3 identical. I did the hole as well with a flush trim, because that way, if you use the template for that, all the holes for all of the pieces are perfectly in line. But you could try and drill them, but it's a lot easier just to save all the faffing around with them measuring or whatever, just cut them out with the router as well. So to assemble a clamp, you need four of these blocks. You'll see why I need four in a minute. So just basically now, once you've got all the blocks made, it's just almost a case of just drilling holes in them. So the first one you need to do is to allow the threaded rod to go through for the winder. The first one is to drill well, I've got M12 rod, so it's a 12mm hole sort of up there. So I'm running it through a plate washer to stop the nut coming out, which is in a minute. So I've just lined up the bottom of the plate washer, roughly just above the bottom of that hole, and that's what I'm going to drill through there. So I've drilled all the way through that one there. I've just put that one underneath and just marked the spot, as it were, with the drill on that one. So now you want to get a plate washer, put it over the hole. Then you can just screw these on the face. There's zero purpose for cutting them in, except it just looks nice, so I'm cutting them in. So all all you have to do is put it there, cut around it with a knife, and then you can just lift off the first layer of sort of veneer off the ply really simply, and you just get a nice flush look. I mean, you can just screw it to the surface, but it's up to you. So you now got a plate washer flush with the surface of the ply. You just cut out one sort of layer of the veneer. Stick a piece of threaded rod through, and you stick a nut on each end, then draw around the nut, and then you can chisel it out to sink the nut in flush. But you want to get reasonably tight around the nut. It's almost easy to chisel it almost out, and then just tap it the last little bit so you get a nice tight fit. But there is something else I can do in a minute to hold the nut in as well. So on that side, I've just cut the nut in so it's flush in there. On the other side, I don't know if this is necessary or not, but I've cut that one of those washers down, just got 2 slots in the washer, so the nut is sitting each side of the washer, so there's no way that could ever turn, because this is the main sort of, you know, bit that drives the clamp forward. So I don't know, I can't see that nut's ever going to get rounded off so it'll move, because the bar just spins through it. But I've done that sort of a bit over engineer it just so it can never move. For drilling all the plate washers, what I found the easiest way is put like a line of screws around there, and the washer just slides in and out. And you can mess around drilling all the holes, otherwise the thing keeps, you know, stop it spinning around. To make the handle section, just drill a hole straight through the middle there, hole in the end of the threaded rod, push it in the hole, that's it. Just put a nut on the end then, and that's the handle done. So that's the winding part assembled. That's the sort of, that's the fiddliest bit done now. So where we drilled the other hole on that one there, which is going to be like the push part of the clamp, you want to drill that hole out bigger than the size of a nut now. You know, about a little bit deeper than the nut as well, so that the nut can spin inside the hole freely. To assemble the part that actually pushes, so I've got one of those couple of those nuts with a nylon thingamajigs on the end, stop them coming undone. But I mean, you could just any nut and just sort of burr the end of that bit up. So it goes in like that. So obviously it needs to be able to spin freely to allow the thing to turn, but you want to do it in such a way that so that it's that nut, it's the outside nut pushing against the plate washer rather than the inside nut, right? You don't want that nut touching the wood inside the hole, because eventually it's just going to wind itself in. But if it's pushing against that plate washer, it's never going to. It's just going to push that plate washer into that thing. It's pushing a much bigger surface area, so it'll be a lot more effective. So I'll just screw that on there. So on the third one across, all you need to do is to get two strips of 6mm ply. So one slightly bigger than the other one. Just go glued across the top. I suppose that's about 1.25 inches down, so 40mm. So what activates the braking system. It'll become clear in a minute as to why they're there. So that's the third one. That's all we need to do to that one. So it's just the fourth one, which is just one thing you have to do to that one. So on the final piece, you just need two pieces of metal, the shape of the hole, like that, to catch on the bar to brake. So originally I was going to get a 25mm hole saw and just drill a hole in the middle of one of them plate washers, but it was just taking forever. Got a bit bored, so I just used the mark I'd made on it with a hole saw, cut it in half with the angle grinder, and just buzzed those bits out. It didn't take a couple of minutes to do. So screw them on there like that, and then that can, as it tips, it bites onto the bar. I'll show you that bit in a minute. I'll get these all fixed up and then I'll assemble it all. That's them all assembled then. On this part here, I'll bring the camera a bit closer so you can see. I've added this bracket because the point of this part, these bits of 6mm ply, as it pushes, it makes this one twist back, which is what's locking on the bar. So this bit is just loose, just keep the two together, so you're not got to mess around, keep pushing them together. So So the idea is, well, you don't, well, you could just add a brake to that, the metal pets, let's make that one break, but this one stays square, and so does that one. So you've got square jaws for clamping, and then that one twists to lock. But depending on how, obviously you need a bit of movement in that hole to allow it to twist. So you have to file it out a little bit, but it depends, because I used a 25mm drill bit. I've got a little bit of movement on the 25mm hole, so I don't know whether that pipe is exactly 25mm or what. So really, until you make it, you kind of see. You might just need to file it like a slight angle to allow it to twist. But I mean, I'd set it up first, see what it goes like, and then decide how much you need to file off. Because if you file too much, it will go too thing and one won't lock. But they are fairly simple to make. Well, now you can sort of see how it all constructs. It's just basically drilling a load of holes. I mean, you've got 2 clamps there, you know, for less than a tenner, which is not bad really. Hope you found it helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe, that'd be brilliant if you could. I have got a couple more clamps ideas coming up, so if you are interested, please subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching.